Wow, what an absolute privilege and delight to be here with you today. I've participated in the graduation concert on Zoom because of COVID, but it's just amazing that we're finally able to be here in person. Yeah, so especially on this momentous occasion. So here I am in a costume, but I'm not very cute. But hopefully I'll have something helpful to share with you. And the amazing thing I have to point out is that my parents are here too. So I'm kind of the same as you. Yeah. Just that I'm not 4 years old anymore and I'm just not so cute. But I really rejoice in all the parents who are here. It means, and grandparents and siblings and friends. It means so much to your children that you are here. Yeah. And I'm sure all of you have been through so much in the last 4 or 5 years, right? Just to see them go from in your womb to, this size. I was really surprised when Teacher Ben said just now he still feels like a poor dad. Because Ben and Serene, you are so rich in love. I hope your son is hearing this. No amount of money can buy you your parents' love. Okay, it is so much more precious than a yacht or any kind of overseas experience. So I really rejoice in what you're giving to your children. It's something so priceless and valuable. So anyhow, I was invited today to say a little bit about self-empowerment based on Buddhist principles. The funny thing about Buddhism is that unlike in other religions, we are not looking for some kind of self. Most of Buddhism talks to you about what the self is not. Because the basic idea is that when we have false ideas about a self, that creates like a mental prison and makes us very unhappy. So I just want to touch on 3 wrong ideas of the self that can make us very unhappy. And when we change that, that is the process of what we might call self-empowerment, right? It actually frees us to develop our potential. So the first is the idea that the self is something fixed or permanent. You catch that when you see yourself saying things like, I always do this, I never do that. Or maybe it happens with your child, You always do this, you never do that. So when you catch yourself saying words like that, it's like, wait a second, I'm not seeing things realistically. The self is something changing moment by moment by moment. And we saw that in this concert. Right? I love those before-after pictures. Right? In a few short years, the child is, where is that fixed permanent child who's always doing something or never doing something or can't change? So, instead of feeling sad when you see your child change and grow, of course not, right? We're happy that the self is impermanent. We can change. All our good qualities can be developed infinitely. You saw that. In 4 years, a child can develop so much knowledge and intelligence and good values. And that's something that doesn't stop, even for all of us now. You may not believe me, but, check up, Are you the same person today as you were yesterday? So when we remember that the self is constantly changing, that's very empowering because then our negative qualities can be removed as well. Anything you don't like about yourself, you can find ways to change. It's a matter of learning and practice and time. So that's one idea, right? So anytime you think, oh, here I am fixed and permanent, or my child is fixed and permanent, I'm changing, you're not seeing things the right way. Check up if that idea is actually helpful. Now the other one is when we think our self is not made of parts. It's some kind of fixed whole. And the problem with this is then we tend to over-identify with a small part of ourselves. So for example, maybe you have a very beautiful body now. All the kids are so beautiful, right? And you think, oh, I am beautiful. Then something changes. You get hurt, or maybe, you put on a lot of weight, or you get very tall. And then suddenly you think, oh, I'm not beautiful anymore. My body changed. I'm not beautiful. I'm not the same as before. I'm worthless. Sometimes people think that way, right? Or your child makes one mistake, right? Or they don't do well on one test. And you think, oh my God, they're never going to get into Harvard. Yeah, that's the end. They spelled cat, K-A-T, instead of C-A-T. It's over. Yeah. One small thing we over-identify as the whole self. Yeah. And because of that, we make ourselves miserable. We make the child miserable. So it's really important to pay attention when that comes up. Is this something that just happened for a few minutes? Yeah, they made one small mistake. That is not who their whole person is. And the same applies to us, right? We made one small mistake. That is not who we are. Yeah, so anytime you get angry with your child too, is there anyone here in the audience who has not lost your temper with your child? Okay, one person, but he's a child. You don't have children yet. Wait till you have children. Then you will know. Yeah, good. We're all honest here, yeah? And I'm sure none of us enjoy that experience, right? I've heard so many parents regret that. Like, oh, I'm such a bad parent. I got angry. I yelled at them. That is not true. It's just a small moment where your mind was overwhelmed. And so, you have to forgive yourself when those things happen and figure out, what steps you can take to prevent it from happening again. Yeah, and that's the subject of a much longer talk, yeah? But really, parents, please, do not blame yourself and get upset with yourself just because you keep thinking you didn't do enough, you made mistakes. Every parent here has had sleepless nights thinking that way, and it is not an accurate reflection of all your contributions to your child's life. Okay, so it's important to remember the other side too, all the good things you have done for your children. And lastly, anytime we think that a self is independent, doesn't depend on causes and conditions, I'm in charge, I'm in control, I'm controlling everything, no one else is involved. That's a completely wrong view. And that is also what gets us in trouble, right? Because if you were in charge and you had control, then when things go wrong, you 100% screwed up, right? And that's, again, not a realistic picture of how things exist. We saw this in the earlier video. It takes a village to raise a child. Yeah, every single one of us depend on so many causes and conditions. For all of us to even learn to speak, how many people had to teach us to speak? Yeah, our parents, all the teachers, so many teachers over time, for us to be able to even communicate right now and hear each other and understand what's going on. Yeah, so that's really important, and it helps to improve the sense of gratitude we have, because we see that everything that we accomplish, everything that the children have accomplished today is dependent on so many other people. So I just want to rejoice that you have created some really powerful causes and conditions by putting your child in a wonderful school like My Little Gems Preschool. Yeah, you're creating, and by showing up for them in every moment of their lives, you are creating some very powerful, positive causes and conditions. And then the other part is also dependent on your child, right? They have their own causes and conditions. They have friends who influence them. So many factors come into play. But what's most beautiful, I think, at this age, we really see every child has so much potential. Yeah, so you as parents, I think, are really doing your part and really doing your best. And so rejoice in that. Really, really rejoice. Give yourself the credit. Okay, don't just focus on, I didn't do enough, I could have done more, and why aren't you behaving better? Yeah, if we go through our lives looking at the situation like that, we will make ourselves miserable. So, yeah. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be here. I hope that was a little bit helpful. Next time you get angry or you find yourself impatient, come back to this moment, okay? And remember, how do I want to create good causes and conditions going forward to support my child's life, to support my own health and happiness, and to know that, we all have infinite potential like these children, even if we're not cute anymore. Okay, thank you.